Hello, thank you for joining AstroPsych. Today is June 30th, 2026. It's approximately 1:30 p.m. And I'm going to be coming to you today talking about the Barbault basket configuration that is showing up as a pattern in the sky where it peaks July 19th, lasts through the 22nd, and then starts to separate a little. But this has been talked about quite a bit in recent weeks. It's popped up in a lot of spaces and places. And I began to go down this road a couple months ago and look at it as I saw it coming up, but didn't really understand it because I was working on other projects. But now that I've had some time to sit with it and look at it, I just want to bring you what my intuitive energies and understanding and channeling of these positions for all 12 zodiac signs. And I see this energy starting and initiating a great global civilization change in a lot of systems within our lives. But more specifically, the financial system, I think, is going to be hit the heaviest first. But understand that even though we're in fire and air, it does take time. The biggest hits are when they hit those cusps and when they initially enter in. There's a great amount of power and shift there, so we have to focus on those 00 to 05 degrees. And of course, this is at 4 degrees, these points that we're looking at. And they're telling a story of, hey, we've already moved into something that is now settling in. And it's not just the initiation of it, it is an actual thing where now these energies are gaining some momentum, and it depends on whether they're retrograde or not. But they all go through these cycles when they move forward of gaining some serious momentum. And that's where the ground level shifts and change just kind of grind their way out and move us to these different spaces and places related to all things financial, agricultural, education, food. Yeah, I suppose would be agricultural, but the governmental systems. Like we're just going to see a lot of change, and we have harmony in the sky pointing us that it's going to be a brighter dawn. But there is always darkness before the dawn. And it's showing that although we have this great opportunity, we really do have work to do. And a lot of it has to do with things that are absolutely out of our control with the outer planets to the things that are in our control, the inner planets. We have to find how this out of control energy that we can't work with as closely because it's so far away, right? Now, we have to understand as above, so below. Really, those inner planets are where we can make the biggest change by working with those energies and where they're at in the cycle and the season of time, in the cycle and season of the calendar, in the cycle and season of our lives. And if we don't take them to a level where we act like they control us, but we engage our self will in a balanced psychological way of understanding how we are living in an earth suit, right? A biosuit with a mind, a body, and a soul, and how it can connect. And it does connect with that which is outside of us. And so, this Barbault basket that's appearing in the sky is paving the way, that's showing a harmonious result when it's all said and done. So we're going to see this shifting and changing, of course, how it shows up in society through all the interactions that they're making together with these other planets and asteroids and points in the wheel that we can map. And that's going to tell this collective story. So we know Uranus went into Gemini. It's going to be there for approximately 7 years. We know Neptune went into Aries, going to be there approximately 14 years. And we also know Pluto went into Aquarius, going to be there till 2044. So these long 7, 14, 20, 22-year outer transit of these planets are shifting and changing the global stage of how we do life. So, with them being in fire and air, we have to talk about quick, fast, highly inventive, highly exchangeable, highly creative in a way that is propelling us forward in time. Not so much fixing what's already been put down and rearranging it. No, we must understand this is revolutionary energy. This is a complete overhaul. And a lot of what we've known and relied upon is going to be changing and shifting. And if you're somebody who has a really, really hard time with changing and shifting, these next years to bringing us to 2029, I would say, really 2030. They're not going to be easy for those that don't know how to be mutable and bendable and flexible. So, with that, let's get to it and take a closer look at this now with the background of this Barbault basket. Andre Barbault, 1921 to 2019, was a leading French astrologer and often seen as one of the most important figures in the 20th century mundane astrology, which focuses on world events, historical trends, and political cycles. So, below is a summary of his background and main contributions. So, three key areas of expertise was mundane astrology, psychological astrology, and computerized astrology. He was known for connecting planetary cycles to major world events, creating a cyclic index that measured the positions of the outer planets. He considered Jupiter through Pluto to identify times of global tension, war, or peace. Early in his career, he combined Freudian psychoanalytic theory with astrology to better understand human personality and motivation. And in 1967, he started Astroflash, the world's first computerized astrology service, which offered mass produced charts. Although traditionalists found this controversial, it helped him make astrology much more popular in France. So, my goodness, 1967, I was just 4 years old. Some of you not even born yet. So, he really was a trendsetter and he really put his mark out there on the astrological community. And his predictions was the fall of the Soviet Union. And in 1955, he predicted a major change in the Kremlin that would occur around 1989 based on his study of the Saturn-Neptune cycle. The 2020 pandemic, he famously pointed out a time of collective crisis around 2020, which many later linked to the COVID-19 pandemic. And lastly, the Barbault basket. This term describes a rare planetary pattern, a basket or a bowl shaped in the zodiac wheel. He saw it marking a big turning point in world history. His research on a similar formation in July 2026 is now a major topic among astrologers, as he suggested it could signal a new phase for society or a shift in global power and resources. With Chiron ingressing into Taurus, I did a video, go check it out, for all 12 signs of where this shift from Chiron and Aries I am to Chiron and Taurus is more I have his resources, what he holds, right? This is fixed earth energy. This is all things money. It's the first money house. So we have to look at where money is going to be shifting and changing for you. Go take a look at that, please. And you'll see how I really dived into that for you. Now, this long-term structural reorganization, 4 degrees of harmony, it's these sextiles and trines that are working together. We see these in the chart there, and it's going to completely change the structure of how we do all of the aspects that they're making and speaking to. So we got to take a closer look at that. But unlike many New Age astrologers, Barbault took a very scholarly and focused approach, which I can appreciate. He often worked alone in remote places, which I can appreciate. dedicating himself fully to his calculations and treating astrology as a serious art and science. And I have Aquarius in the 4th house and Saturn. So I definitely see this, how it's now become a theme in my life where it's been irrefutable. I've looked at markers in my own chart, markers in time with Monday in astrology, and people, famous people, and looked at the sky and lined up their progress chart or their natal. And sure enough, you see these hits and these exact conversations of two planets hitting together in an aspect that's forming a storyline. And then that storyline plays out on Earth. And that is where, after so many patterns like this that I just saw it was absolutely reliable. And I believe in free will. I have a Jupiter in Aries, so I'm definitely a pioneer of my energy going out in fire. But I use my head. And yeah, sometimes I've used it impetuously, but I've honed that and matured it. And, my youth has been grounded and matured. And, but I move out with my energy, and so it's very, very pioneering energy here. And I can understand this and work with it, and it doesn't intimidate me. So, he really had this idea of how he saw the correlations between, like I do, just daily life. And he went out in a very pioneering way and wrote more than 30 books, most of which were only in French for many years. And recently, English translations have come forth, which is translations, excuse me. And one of his main works, The Value of Astrology and Planetary Cycles, has become very important for those studying mundane astrology. So I have those on my order list, but I've got some other books I need to work through. But I'm definitely going to tap into that because I can understand where he's coming with this basket and the way that he interpreted it and what he saw. So this is also called, this basket, a cradle formation. And it's anticipated to peak in mid-July. So July 19th through the 22nd is when this peaks. Again, my birthday, so I am highly interested. All cancers in the first degree there of, in the first decan will really want to look at this closely. Also the late degrees, because the late degrees are those 26, 27, 28, 29, and they hit the 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Like there's a shift and a change if you see it hitting a later degree, like aspects there for some reason. Like it's a shift and a change for you. So it's really important you line up this basket with your chart and see where it's hitting for you. So what we've got here are the outer planets sextiling and trining. And this is going to create a chance for deep collective growth and change because they're outer planets. Pluto in Aquarius, now in full retrograde, stands for a major transformation and collective power. Think of Pluto as public, dynamic power, other people's money, changing in how we see other people's money, how we use other people's money, how we exchange with other people's money. Pluto is ruling Scorpio with Mars. So this is aggressive energy. It is in Aquarius, but we have to look at Pluto and how he acts and how he behaves and what he does. And he utterly transforms any place hitting your chart. This is an ask, a deep ask, to become the phoenix that utterly in mythology changes its entire way that it projects itself and is seen in the physical realm. So, major transformation, power, humanity, social systems. This is Aquarius, 11th house, the spiritual house, spiritual quadrants of 10 through 12, the houses of spirituality, where we want to come out and make a difference in our groups, organizations, and leave a legacy and show up, right? So, a lot of change and shifting there with how we show up collectively because of the overhaul systems and how they're all changing the way that we interact with one another. Neptune and Aries nestled in there. He's going to be there for almost 14 years. and going retrograde. So sparks new ideas, spiritual awakenings, bold, bold pioneering visions. And I want to share that Neptune is also with Saturn. And Saturn is now moved away from Neptune and moving, but Saturn's doing a deep work there wherever he ingressed for 2.5 years. So look at what Saturn's speaking to you with this Neptune in Aries. Uranus in Gemini brings big changes to communication, networking, technology. Uranus is all things sky god, all things communication, internet, shock and awe of the rebellious nature, wanting to do things differently, wanting to change things, very revolutionary energy. Also ruling astrology. So we're going to see a lot of astrology pop off. You look for Urania, the asteroid Urania, who she rules astrology. Quite interesting to see where she falls in your chart. Jupiter in Leo broadens beliefs, encourages creativity, and shapes big ideas. Now, we've had Jupiter inside of Leo. Now, we've had Jupiter inside of Cancer since June of 2025. And now we see Jupiter has left the exalted position and has now moved into a position where his planetary dignity is basically what he makes it. Leo has to work with this fire in a responsible way in order for it to come out in the best way. But we've got the great benefic that was last seen in Leo in 2014 to 2015. And so look back to those years. Jupiter in Leo is bringing us a great opportunity and asking us to look at how we can come forth in our shine, how we can come forth in our own leadership, how we can use our own ego, our own soul star energy, wherever the sun is where you're shining the brightest. And that energy is now nestled also inside of Jupiter. We've got the great fire yang masculine Jupiter with the great sun yang energy that is just really, really poignant and beneficial and huge and large and active. Very, very active. So, what does this pattern mean? Well, it's holding, this cradle holds, right? Like a cradle holding a baby, holds collective tensions. And it's making big social changes that seem very difficult to grasp at first. They're big. And even though it includes mostly harmonious trines and sextiles, how it affects people depends a lot on their individual charts. So if you want to see how this rare alignment might affect your life, let me know. I'm going over this briefly, but this is going to be energy along with Chiron for 7 years, Uranus for 7 years, Neptune for 14 years, Pluto for 20 more years. You know, this is going to be energy, Chiron, especially squaring this Jupiter right now. This is going to be energies there for really the next 5 years. Very, very concentrated, making these changes. So, love to help you with that if you're interested. So, look for your sun sign or your rising sign. Any major placements you have in early degrees or the first decan, 10 degrees of air or fire signs, huge for you. This is making a direct ask to you of a shift and a change, of an opening door of harmonic aspects. And this is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. These are in harmony and offer incredible support, insight, and you can put some direction and focus for the next 3 to 5 years. So, consequently, any major placement you have in early degrees of water or earth signs, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces, these are squaring your early degree placements and will need to be addressed, adjusted, and integrated in more healthy body, mind, and soul ways. So, for all of the 12 zodiac signs, the Barbault basket historically is going to change massive resets in wherever it's focusing directly and aspecting your chart. So, this basket is elegant, it's interlocking, it's a network of harmonious aspects. Uranus in Gemini is sextiling Neptune in Aries. Uranus in Gemini is trining Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is sextiling Neptune in Aries. And Jupiter in Leo is anchoring the pattern by forming a trine to Neptune, a sextile Uranus, and an opposition to Pluto. And perhaps this is the biggest ask of the whole configuration, is that opposition to Pluto. And we'll look at each of those for your signs. This is creating that massive cradle of supportive energy, pushing humanity forward in technology, AI, alternative systems, and spiritual sovereignty. That's a big one. A lot of people aren't talking about, but with Neptune and Aries trining all these energies, woo. This is some movement in the way that you connect with what's above you, what's outside of you, in your belief systems. Aries, this basket primarily activates your first house of self, Neptune, and fifth house of creativity, passion, Jupiter. Expect a massive shift and surge for you in personal inspiration. Your voice and creative output carry a heavy global frequency right now. You're rewriting who you are and letting go of old identities to step into leadership roles within your community. So let's talk about this Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter in Leo likes to do things in grand style and has a great self confidence, self assurance, and can lead. We have to look at the archetype of Leo, a natural born leader, the archetype of Jupiter, a natural born ninth house, philosophical, highly intelligent set of master systems that you can tap into that are going to allow you to bring your energy out in a large way. Caution. This is an opposition for you. And we see it there in Pluto up there, your opposition up there to the 11th. It's occurring in your 5th, 11th house axis. So, a strong desire to make your mark on the world at this time, to accomplish something of significance and great value and worth. Your ambition, self motivation, very, very pronounced at this time. And you're going to pursue life's goals with passion and great intensity. And if other factors in your chart support this, where we put it up against your chart, you can expect to bring your power and leadership out into the collective. And at the very least, you're going to be known in a group or a community for organizing others or taking charge of situations. However, watch that you don't let power go to your head, because you're going to turn people against you if you do this. This is an opposition. This is a stare down of other people to you, the 5th to the 11th. And the 5th house is the quadrants 4 through 6 of family. And the 11th house is the quadrants 10 through 12 of spirituality. So networking is huge here. You've got groups and organizations with your creativity and your pleasure. Pluto trine Uranus, born to change social communities at large, born to be a rebel here and associate technology advancement with what you're doing. This is trining down there to Uranus, and Uranus is very much concerned about being an original thinker here, concerned about communicating, and wants to be progressive in his ideas. So easily bored here and needing a lot of intellectual stimulation. Modern technology and scientific breakthroughs. You could be bringing something out that is of high value that we all need to see at this time. Remember, this is going on over the next 3, 4, 5 years, slowly evolving this energy. This isn't quick. Pluto crawls, but Jupiter moves a bit quicker. So Jupiter's going to come off of that opposition. And by then, you should have a clear idea of how to work with that 11th house. It's really calling you to take a deep look at that. Now, Neptune in Aries, it's in retrograde. And Neptune in Aries can be very, very selfless and want to bring a philosophical and religious order forward. So be careful with that. You're reviewing your deepest beliefs and how your deepest beliefs are impacting the collective, your communication, and your creativity. Taurus, this is your 12th and 4th houses being highlighted here. These are the heavy hitters that land in the subconscious and the home and roots. So deeply internal psychological work. And the basket is offering you some profound emotional healing, liberation from some ancestral patterns that you are outgrowing. And they've probably been kind of shown to you in recent days and weeks pretty clearly. And, with Chiron in Taurus, your sign, this is a double hit to your finances and your money. So a major upgrade or shift regarding where you live or your definition of sanctuary, like what really brings you peace and connects you with your true roots. It's anchoring you at this time. Very important to see that. Your Jupiter in the 4th house is happy and positive energy and good relations at this time with parents and family. You should see some support and loyalty coming into your life, and you can expect to do very well in your place of birth. Yes, your place of birth comes in here, having it crossed over that I see very sensitive cusp. Now, you can also bring in wealth and other comforts into your life at this time that maybe you have wanted to bring in and you just haven't been able to do that. And your home can be expanded into this place where you're teaching from it, leading from it, sharing your gifting from it. But we've got this opposition we definitely need to look at. And the opposition there for you is Pluto up on that 10th house cusp. So a strong desire to make your mark on the world and accomplish something of significance and value. Pluto is changing the way that your rebel, Uranian way of doing money. You've got Uranus, the Lord of Aquarius, in the second house, trining you. And it's, wanting to change the way that you show up and pursue the things that deeply matter to you, Pluto. The power dynamics in them and your passions and your intensity around them and where you want to show up is really under this transformative phase for you. Power and leadership can be brought out to others down there to the fourth house. And you can be known in a group or community for organizing others and taking charge of situations. So, watch here as a caution that you don't let power go to your head. Pluto on the midheaven is known for this, and it can turn people against you, right? Especially if you think that, well, they feel, I should say, they're being manipulated. And you can risk placing yourself in situations of loss due to your arrogance and provoke those with greater authority than yourself. These are some of the shadows of that opposition, this stare down that you have going on. And, Jupiter is, after all, in the Saturn decan, and Pluto is in the Venus decan. So, wanting to put your money in a more place of power, in a place of restructuring that brings more order. 4 is order. Saturn wants order. Saturn is deeply interested with restraining and putting things in a place where, you can use them to bring out into the collective. Uranus in the second for you in Gemini. You're going to have some really original ways of earning money. You might come up with a different plan that's unique to you, very revolutionary. Others haven't thought of it. And faith in your own abilities and strong intuition and strong insights coming into you regarding money and the way that you can secure it. And you're going to be very steady. The good news is this could be some grounding coming to that Uranus. It's in the decan of Jupiter, very large, fast-acting energy, sextiling over to Jupiter, and the restraint of Jupiter is a good thing. It's going to be able to work together and put some forms down for you of a very secure nature in that second house. So, sextiling Jupiter, keen eye for opportunities, keen intuition, great sense of timing can show up with you and in your favor. And psychic gifting with its sextiling Neptune in the 12th house, deep spiritual understanding with others of how to heal that subconscious realm, definitely showing up there for you and highlighting you with these psychic giftings at this time. All right, let's go into Gemini. Gemini, this is hitting your first and third houses. With Uranus in your first house and Jupiter in your third house communication, you're getting this messenger coming forward that's asking you to get into alignment with these two houses. They're working together. So your mind, it is firing. You're ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in retrograde. In Cancer to the 27th. So your mind is firing at 100 miles per hour, going back in and looking, back in and looking, back in and looking. Cancer rules the home, back in and looking about things regarding the home. And this basket is going to stabilize some of these ideas you have, and they're brilliant. They're futuristic. They're out there. And this basket's going to bring some stability to your nervous system at this time and give you some kind of a platform or a network. Network is the key word here for you, to launch a massive, innovative project that's highly unique to you, Gemini. Yeah, if you've been feeling that and you've maybe been in doubt to bring it out, we need to see it. We're waiting for you to come out in this great, great creativity you've got going on from the first and the third. You have a very open mind with Jupiter in the third and interested in many, many things at this time. So often all at once, it can cause a lot of confusion with these energies coming in. You've got to do some grounding somatic therapy. And you're ruled by that Mercury. So please, this is very, very important over the next, especially when it ingresses here and nestles this Jupiter in gets into this flow, you definitely can have a lot of big energy coming at you. So, an urge to learn, extend your knowledge, philosophy, religion, education, maybe going back to school. And this opposition for you, it causes you to want to change the way you're making your mark on the world and to accomplish something of great significance. And, this ninth house is calling you. It's in retrograde, Pluto. It's going to be there till 2044, bringing you a new transformative viewpoint of your passions and your goals and how you want to show up in your greater themes of life and philosophy and your networks. And you have an opportunity for leadership here to come out, come out, come out, come out and organize groups and communities around your ideas and take charge and lead, Gemini. Watch that this power doesn't go to your head and watch that you're not too large, too big, too overexpansive. Because again, you've got the same thing going on here with the other signs is people can turn against you with Leo and Jupiter. There can be some jealousy. Jupiter's very confident, Leo's very confident, and these energies together make you look really large. And so, whenever somebody shines real bright, there is, of course, the shadow as well. And people can just it can stir up their insecurities with this authority. So just be careful you're not arrogant and you're not provoking other people with the knowledge that's coming in for you here. Cancer, this is showing up for you in the 12th and 2nd houses, and this configuration lights up your spiritual epiphanies. Neptune ruled house, Jupiter ruled house, and your 2nd house of money, value, Jupiter. So quite possibly you've been experiencing this. I know that in my own life it's definitely been a theme, and I've again arriving at the other side, but experiencing a complete overhaul of how you view abundance and how maybe it was more ancestral tied and where you came from and how you saw money and worked with money. Cancer is the roots. I see the family, lower part of the chart, personal expression, 4 through 6, and home, family, psychological roots, land, fathers, subterranean, upbringing. So, yeah, you've been shifting and changing how you've been looking at that and interacting with your ancestry. And this is going to bring an even deeper overhaul and an opportunity for you. And spiritual insights are translating directly into tangible financial security. So you can begin to move between the 12th house of the subconscious, spiritual, deep, highly intuitive house and a deeply psychological house, and now work in the 2nd house of values, money, earth, where you can quite possibly make money doing this at this time. So the shift here for you of Jupiter in the 2nd over to the 8th, looking at this polarity for you in the decan of Saturn, of course, acquiring money with Jupiter there, acquiring material wealth, being very determined, showing up in your leadership, showing up in your flair and your shine, and financial gains are quite possible for you during this next time if you use this energy wisely. You have to put it up against your chart, of course, but there's a great opening for you. And you may like the things that money can buy, and be careful. You can accumulate a lot of things and possessions, and there can be a tendency towards greed and overindulgence and gaining weight, right? So, no, that's not good. We have to be careful. We have to be balanced. We can't have too many things around us. Everything has a vibration. And so, order is really important here. And getting that out of order by being too exuberant and too over the top and too about yourself can cause problems and provoke jealousy with other people, because you have this opposition there with Pluto, and that's occurring on the 8th house cusp. And, this is driving you to want to create something and accomplish something of great significance, with a passion and intensity. And it can bring the power and the leadership out to others and other people's money. So, I mean, this is classic here. Pluto in the 8th does very well. Now it's in Aquarius, so that's air energy, logical. So bringing these deep spiritual held waters into a much logical working space that can work with fire, because air works with fire. And in asking a shift for you to begin to really bring out your creative expressions and channel them. The 8th house is a house of channeling, is a water house of Scorpio, of deeply intuitive energies, of creative expressions, music, theater, dance, film, and painting. It's all hitting this Jupiter here. We have to see this in Leo. Leo rules the 5th house of creativity in all expressions of art. So, really want to bring your power out here, but watch it. Don't let power go to your head again. In this 8th house, you could, have a lot with the sextile from the 10th of the great mystic showing up, Aries, in the 10th, and sextiling to the 12th and trining Uranus over there. You have got some harmony working out into the collective with these energies. And don't overdo it, or you could experience great losses as well. So be careful with this energy. It has to be managed correctly. Leo, this is obviously the 1st to the 7th and the 1st to the 11th sextile there. So what does this mean for you? Leo, 1st and 11th houses, Jupiter blasting into your 1st house, Uranus and Pluto lighting up your 11th house of networks. You are the star of the show. This is your time, Leo. Step forward. The basket is helping you completely reconstruct your public image in social circles, where you want to show up, where naturally in your confidence, in your leadership, in your shine, and in your what's the word I'm looking for, Leo? The word regal. But when Leos are in their high dignity, they really show up in a beautiful, harmonious way, and they just bring light wherever they go. You are ruled by the sun, the very solar power itself, and this is going to bring deep vitality and awareness and put the spotlight on you in a very, very huge way. You can expect highly vibrational, collective, collaborative, powerful partnerships to flood into your life, and the world is ready to see your unique expression coming out. So, first, over to the 7th there, let's talk about this Leo opposition over to the 7th of Jupiter to Pluto. So, wanting to make your mark in the 1st house, this is potent energy. You've got Saturn fixing that. Jupiter, you're going to be able to do it. High ambition, high self motivation, wanting to pursue lives with passion, wanting to pursue goals with intensity, bringing your power, bringing your leadership. However, this is coming out to others directly. So you could have maybe gotten a position of leadership recently where you've been promoted. This is an ask of you. You know, you're changing your power dynamics in the way that you work with people in a collective way. It's in the house of partnerships. So be careful that you don't let others manipulate you and you manipulate others. There's an ask here in this polarity to have a real balance with the way that the person directly across from you in partnerships every day are showing up with you in the way that you're expressing your creative power and your creative energy there. Jupiter sextiling that Uranus in the 11th. Wow. There is a great trust and a great directive power that is allowing you to move your voice and your networking and able to connect it with others in favor for you at this time. Virgo. Virgo, this basket is occurring for you from the 6th to the 12th and the sextile from the 10th to the 12th. So 12th and 10th houses, basket hits unseen help in the 12th house, in the house of career and legacy. So it's time to step out of the shadows, Virgo, and any behind the scene work that you've been grinding away at over the last few years, especially. You could find a massive public breakout window here with your work that you've been doing behind the scenes, and your professional status is going to be in a position of high beneficial, unconventional evolution. Now, I especially want to mark this unconventional revolution and evolution. Uranus on the midheaven is not easy, okay? Uranus on the midheaven is asking you to communicate and network and bring out your progress, your inventive ideas about how you can take your energies out in a big way for career. Now, we are not in a place collectively where rebels and change makers speaking out with their mouths and their energy in networking are appreciated, because you're bringing out something really different and really unique, and it's probably not been seen before. And whenever you do that, that is never easy. So you can expect shock and awe to come to you, because you've got this opposition. We have to look at Pluto is trining, yes, but it's going through your 6th house, Pluto, and it's opposite your 12th. So it's really important we look at this challenge that can come up for you, and this strong desire to make your mark in the world is in a hidden house, and it's in Leo. And this house has to do with seclusion, where nobody's seeing you. And it's an invisible house of the public in that it's institutions and jails and insane asylums and spiritual spaces far away, meditative spaces, places that people are not seeing you. Okay? And Pluto in the 6th is, asking you to throw yourself wholeheartedly at something that has to do in transformative ways, that has to do with service, work, how you serve the world, how you come out in the world. It's your house ruled by Mercury. Mercury's in Cancer in retrograde. dealing with home, dealing with roots, dealing with the fourth house. And you could have a lot of physical health issues with Pluto going through the sixth here and having it be opposite because you're staring down where Jupiter's coming out in Leo in large and big ways in your personality. You know, where you're bringing your wisdom, optimism, justice, faith, teachings. And it's asking you to look at how it's impacting your sixth house. So, really important to see Pluto trining Uranus there in the 10th, allowing you to bring your social reform and to bring your personal transformation forward. But remember, this energy is just starting, it's going to take time. So, with Pluto going through your sixth there, be real careful about the way that your major breakthroughs in science and technology and the internet and the way that maybe you're coming out using what's going to be available is for the good and the benefit of all. Now you've got Neptune in retro in the 8th, and Neptune in the 8th it could bring some challenges to financial situations with you. It could be due to some deceptive or carelessness. Neptune can bring disillusion there in the 8th. And wills and inheritances or inheriting money or just dealings with money, other people's money, other systems of money could be very, very confusing at this time. Also, be careful around water with Aries in Neptune in the 8th. Okay, we're going to move on here and we're going to go to Libra. So, Libra, this is occurring for you 11th and 9th houses. This beautiful alignment touches the 11th house of alliances, Jupiter, in 9th house of wisdom, broad horizons, Uranus. Your belief systems are expanding exponentially. You're beginning to be open to new ideas, new understanding of how things work, and it is a really good time for higher education, long distance traveling, aligning with global movements, publishing, teaching, mastering, networking on a large global scale, and the right people are appearing to help you achieve some of your grandest life goals. This is a very opportunistic time for you. You've got the polarity from the 11th to the 5th, the house of children, house of greater alliances. So, what's trying to be said here with Jupiter sextiling Uranus over there in the 9th? So, Jupiter, your faith, Uranus, unique ideas. Your faith in your own abilities is usually strong. And regardless of what may be happening, you're going to have this buoyancy to you, this trust in the future, this new buoyant energy is coming forward to you at this time. And I think that you're going to see some really good opportunities open up for you, this beneficial energy with great sense of timing for you and in being able to embrace these changes that are coming with some buoyancy and optimism. Jupiter opposite Pluto there, you have this desire again with Pluto. We're wanting power dynamics, putting things down on the earth, making our mark, and wanting to go out into the world and accomplish something of great significance. So, ambition, self motivation is very pronounced, and you're really going to pursue your goals in life with a passion and intensity. And also, children could be coming into your life at this time as Pluto transfers, changes in children, births of children, all types of transformation going on there opposite Jupiter. having to do with very beneficial things for you. So, this is a favorable time. Balance this energy for you in that 5th to 11th house of your personal energy, your personal ideas, and your own glow, your own shine, and how it's being released out there into the collective at this time. Jupiter trining Neptune over there to your 7th and others. You're going to be very selfless and compassionate and receptive to the needs of others. Be careful, Libra. You can let other people walk all over you. You have to be careful with that energy. Make sure you balance. Spiritual subjects will definitely interest you, possibly psychic abilities or these deep ideas of knowing things with other people and in relationships. And this keen sense of timing comes up with this basket. And being able to channel possibly your giftings of a highly inspirational nature with others and starting to exchange that music, theater, dance, film, painting, all these come up with Leo. Acting, very magnetic energy, very idealistic energy. Careful, you could see things through rose tinted glasses with Neptune. He can be disillusioned a little bit, up in his head there in Aries, and can move too impetuously with his Mars. So just be careful. Don't grandize things when they really are not, Libra. Make sure you keep a strong sense and ground that 5th house. Scorpio, the 4th house up to the 10th for you with this Pluto opposite Jupiter. So Scorpio, 10th and 8th houses, they're activating house of career, Jupiter, and house of shared resources, transformation, Pluto, Uranus. This brings an incredible opportunity for financial empowerment through joint ventures, investments, career investments. So, power dynamics in your life are leveling out here and allowing you to assume a position of quiet control. And, this has been a challenge for Scorpio energy here. You've been going through it. And there's going to be with this basket this ability to finally settle down in your energies. And Pluto, we know Scorpio's been going through there, and with this opposition up there on your midheaven, this is very beneficial for you. Other people regarding themes of home and where you're going to show up in your midheaven, where you show up in public. So strong desire to make your mark out on the world there, Jupiter up in the midheaven. Ambition, self-motivations very pronounced at this time. Want to pursue things with a little bit more passion and intensity as these energies shift into these sextiles and trines of working together. And you're going to feel the harmony and, community here. Organizing yourself in communities and where you show up. Watch that your power doesn't go to your head. We get it here again, but especially on the midheaven with Uranus in the 8th and in Gemini, speaking about hidden things, secret things in a very large way. Other people's money, connecting with other people's money could come very quickly and very, very fast for you. Scorpio rules other people's money in that 8th house, Mars and Pluto. And where do you have Pluto? Down in the 4th. 4th trines the 8th. So you could definitely have some energy now working with you where it's kind of been stalled out, and working with other people's money could come into play for you. So Neptune in the 6th there, Neptune's going to be there for quite some time, and he's reviewing the nervous system. He's reviewing our digestive systems and our health. He's reviewing how our intoxicants and medications, things that we take, things going in our body, and how they're impacting us, and how we need to look at that relationship with the body and really spend some time on our health. And where maybe we haven't seen things too clearly, there could be some mystery diseases coming up here that are going to be coming clear for you. And just, able to handle that mercurial fast energy that goes on there in the sixth house up in the mind. And an employer or supervisor may encounter dishonesty or unreliability with staff. So if you're a business owner and working with other people, this directly comes out in this house because it's the house of work and one of the houses of work. And your way that you're reacting with other people, there could be some fog and confusion that you've had where now, boy, is it coming through loud and clear for you. Sagittarius, this is your seventh and ninth house, and the ninth to the third house, where this is showing up for you. And ninth and seventh houses, with your ruler Jupiter in your ninth house of philosophy, in Uranus in your seventh house of relationships, this basket's going to bring profound breakthroughs in relationships and attracting people who expand your mind and push you out of your comfort zone. So these arrangements you've been and the way that things have been, it's not working for you anymore. You want to build a more dynamic, expressive, freeing type of partnership where you're working with other people and it's not as restrictive as it has been. So Uranus there sextiling over to Jupiter, faith is really expanded for you and strong, and you have a lot of optimism, and you can see these opportunities with other people. They are going to pop for you. You can expect great sense of timing with Uranus here and others, and of fulfilling your dreams and your higher aspirations and your goals is, really important to you at this time. And you've got some great favor for that to move forward for you. Pluto in your third house of networking. Wow. Great job changes for you, trining over there to the seventh. Thoughts, ideas, communicating, network, mercurial minded, fast moving energy, relationships with siblings and relatives come to the forefront. It's going to be some shifting and adjustment with them. You're under some transformative power. So there could be some intense and problematic situations occurring for you from just adjusting here in these new energies that are going to be shifting and changing you. So just expect that to be something that could be highlighted for you. And Neptune there in your fifth, the house of creativity, bringing Neptune high inspiration, idealistic energy. Be careful here. You could expect more that's possible from a loved one, and you need to be very careful with this. You're not seeing things as clearly as you could in your romantic relationships, and you need to just have a more of appreciation here for your partner. It's sextiling, so that works out well for you over to the seventh. But there could be some challenges there for you, and really begin to show some more appreciation in your creative energies and creativeness with others. And talents for dancing come out here, and drama come out here, and music and artistic arts with that fifth house. So it's asking you to be a bit more creative and to stretch. And you've got the opportunity to do that. Definitely for you at this time. Capricorn, this basket polarity is occurring for you there from the 8th to the 2nd, 2nd to the 8th, and the 4th over to the 6th. This is highlighting especially for you those 8th and 6th houses. This pattern centers on your 8th house of deep healing Jupiter there in your 6th house of health, daily rituals, Uranus, and the basket is optimizing your day-to-day existence. And if you felt physically or mentally bogged down, Capricorn, this mid-July window provides some structural, energetic support that you've been waiting for that's going to help you completely revolutionize your daily habits and heal these old psychological loops that you've had coming up for you regarding Mercury. And Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury is in Cancer. And Mercury is asking you to review how this is impacting your home. So as we take a look of this opposition, Pluto in the 2nd, Jupiter in the 8th, Pluto in the 2nd there, is dealing with money and possessions and power dynamics to things and comfort and where you're putting your feet every day and your financial circumstances, your money. There's going to be some undergoing change with your money and recycling periods of change, possibly caused by forces outside of your control. And we're all being asked to shift and change with our money. So, power struggles involving money or possessions can come up with Pluto here. But remember, it's in all of these trining, beneficial sextile harmonies. And so you need to stare down this Pluto opposite Jupiter and just take a look at how your 2nd house and your 8th house relationship with money is panning out for you and other people's money. But you definitely, with Jupiter there, going through your 8th house, you have an opportunity for big money, big beneficial energy coming into resources, coming into other people's money, coming into success with other people's money. These are loans, these are wills, these are inheritances. So you could also run into a partner, a significant other who has money and is able to help you and step forward at this time. But there's definitely abundance in financial resources. Very important to see this for you at this time. Jupiter sextiling Uranus. Your faith in your own abilities is strong, and regardless of what may be happening in your life, you trust in future endeavors. There's this unexpected buoyancy that's going to come into your life, and I think it's because of some things that are going to be shifting and moving here for you, and that just helps everyone as we shift and move. So this beneficial energy is definitely coming to you to encourage your 8th house and trining your 4th of other people's money, 2nd house. Yeah, you can expect some great changes there for you. Aquarius. This, of course, is showing up for you. You've got this Jupiter over to 5th to 7th house and then 7th to 1st house. And so for you, you are experiencing intense pressure with Pluto there in the 1st, but the basket's going to relieve this for you by activating your 7th house of partnerships, Jupiter in the 5th house of joy, romance, Uranus. So this is a beautiful time for you for love, romantic connection with your partner, children, creative projects, artistic creation, finding contractual harmony with others, and acting as a very peaceful, uplifting mirror to your intense personal evolution. And you are definitely going through it there, Aquarius. Pluto in the 1st is never easy energy. You are going to see great sweeping change that's going to affect you personally for in a good way. Major breakthroughs in the science and technology that we're going to be having. It's opposite there. Pluto is opposite Jupiter. So, this is other people and desiring to come out and connect with other people in a large, big way, in a way that you haven't before, and pursue life with more passion and intensity and in group dynamics, finding your space and organizing, maybe coming out in some leadership and taking charge there in the physical body. And I do want to say, other people, are bringing in some large energy for you at this time. And so be careful with that because it's Leo after all, and it's the sun. And the sun and Venus there, that's money, that's other people, that's power dynamics of authority opposing you in the first, right? Because power's there in the first, and it's in the Venus decan of money. And so it's working with this money and restraining it and putting it in a place of better position for you. And there's going to be some help with that communication opening and it allowing you to come forward in a way that brings a little bit more stability. All right, lastly, let's close this up. Pisces. Pisces, this is occurring for you, highlighting the aspect of the 4th through the 6th, and the 6th through the 12th, and the 4th through the 2nd house. So Jupiter triggers your 6th house of work, while network sits in your 2nd house, and Uranus lights up your 4th house of home. So this basket creates a wonderfully supportive bridge between your domestic life and your daily job. And if you want to work from home or change your living situation or find a career that honors your physical peace, the universe is working with you and showing you this basket blueprint that can help you definitely learn more about AI and learn more about the technology that's coming out for you at this time. So let's look at this sextile from Jupiter over to Uranus, the 6th to the 4th. In the 6th, this Jupiter is bringing beneficial energy and highlighting your daily digestion, your daily health, your daily service to others, your daily work, and it's bringing some beneficial energy that's allowing you to work with others on a daily basis in perhaps a more bold and pioneering way than you've been used to. And if you're an employer, your staff members are going to be working with you better. And you're going to see some contentment come in there and trustworthiness and success in the health sector or service industries open wide up for you right now. And health and recuperative powers of health are good for you, but be careful. Don't overindulge. Don't bring any poor dietary habits or the ones that you have you need to address at this time because they could undermine your physical well-being. Jupiter sextiling Uranus there. Faith in your own abilities, regardless of what's happening in your life, and really trusting in the future there. This is buoyancy that's coming up for you and great sense of timing again, showing up for this sextile. And you embrace change because it usually works in your favor. So you're going to see some openings here for you, especially in the 4th house where communication has been stagnant, over to your resources in the 2nd. And you're going to really want to make your mark on this world with Jupiter in the 12th. We need to talk about that. It's definitely cleaning up some things that you've had going on in the 12th house that perhaps, haven't been so easy to see how to show up in the collective. Because Pluto in the 12th, this is a private place, making you a private person with your collective energies. And you're going to need to meditate here, Pisces. You're really going to need to ground that Neptunian down in your home. And there's a trine, there's some communication open up. You're going to be able to do that. But you could suffer fear and paranoia here, Pluto, in regarding money and relationships. Pluto in the 12th house is never easy. It's the house of, hidden things, things that where you're not seen, where we go into meditative states. And so you also have a Pluto there. Some revolutionary ways of going into those meditative states, Pisces, and being able to bring them out collectively at this time. You're definitely working in that lower half of the chart, and you're trying to change the bottom sector very, very strong in your daily life, in your deepest psychology. So wherever these quadrants are showing up for you, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and let me review what those are again. But where you see the basket showing up in those quadrants is where, you really want to look. And quadrant 1 is our personal identity of self, money and self-worth, and immediate environment and communication. So if the bulk of the basket is in that area, those are the themes for you. If it's in quadrant 2, this is personal expansion, and where we have family dynamics of 4, 5, and 6. And for you, this is home, family, psychological roots, creativity and pleasure, magnetism, where you come out in your soul sun, health, work, and service. If the quadrant is up in houses 7, 8, and 9, the quadrant of social identity, social expression. This is commitment and relational partnerships, shared resources, death, sex, taxes, other people's money. This is higher education and philosophy. If it shows up in quadrant 4, this is our personal expression of a spiritual nature. Houses 10, 11, and 12, career and honor, groups and organizations, and secret and hidden things. So where the quadrants are being highlighted or where the focus is for you. And you can go back and look at your chart and you can see this. Now, when you place your chart against this chart, if there's anything hitting exactly at that 4 degree, that is very, very important for you to understand. And I just encourage you to take the time, because this is going to be over the next 3, 4, 5 years. We're going to see this really come out and manifest. So if you'd like any help with that, again, I'm available for you. It would be an honor. Thank you, and blessed be.